Let's talk about this with Erika, who's been on many times before, the chair of the America First Policy Institute Center for Education Opportunity. Thank you, Erika. So, like I was trying to say with this, I think it's an interesting conversation because to me it's like a philosophical discussion for liberals come on and say about student loans, essentially what I just said, but that you're going to, people, especially low-income people, are going to get priced out or not going to be able to get a loan anymore. Whereas to me, the conservative argument seems to be that the schools were the ones taking advantage of all the federal funding and the tuition was inflated. So do you really think tuition will come down?
I don't necessarily think that it's going to come down, but it will discourage students from majoring in degrees that are not going to give them the return on their investment that will allow them to repay these student loans. It's not necessarily a problem, although it is a problem with inflated college costs. We all know that. But the worst offenders are the ones who are getting degrees that are not marketable. They're not employable at a level that's going to give them enough income to pay for these student loans. And so this is what is clamping down on that practice and the promotion of those degrees by these universities.
But these caps, then, they're not going to lead. So your argument is not that it'll lead to lower tuition or less inflation in tuition, but these caps could price some people out, right? This could make it tough for people, even, whatever your major is, even if you're a finance major. I mean, it's still pretty expensive to go to college.
Yeah, I'd like to think that the caps would reduce the cost of college. I think that ultimately we need to get the government subsidies out of higher education in order to do that. We've seen that as we increase subsidies for higher education, that is what has increased the inflationary costs. However, what you may see and what we have seen in some areas is a reduction of the cost of a degree in degree-seeking areas where it does not have the corresponding income. Teaching degrees, for example, have been reduced in cost in some areas of our country where there is a shortage and where, as you've said, people are not seeking those degrees because they cost too much and they're not able to pay them back on a teacher's salary. And so while I don't think the overall cost necessarily, those degrees, if universities want to continue to offer them, they're going to have to make them more affordable.
What about more broadly in this bill? The goal of this administration throughout has been to have the states fund more in terms of education, have more of a burden on the states and have the federal government less involved. Randy Weingarten, I'm sure you know, longtime head of the teachers union, was on this network with Marnie Hughes earlier and said this.
When somebody says that they're for anything other than direct services for children and help for teachers to learn better strategies, they're just using that as an excuse because they're cutting money for students. They've had an assault on education from the day they came in.
Is that true? An assault on education? And is this bill going to make things worse?
The assault is on the monopoly that the government has enjoyed in education for decades. This bill actually includes a tax credit scholarship that will put money in the hands of parents who need an option outside of their zone school. It's absolutely transformational policy that has never existed at the national level. It also expands the use of 529 accounts to homeschool expenses, online programs, and the like. It's an expansion of education freedom that the union hates because it's usually directing those funds to parents and allowing parents to choose schools that are often not unionized. That has nothing to do with not wanting to serve kids. It has to do with putting decisions in the hands of people who know the children the best and love them the most, their parents.
Now, there are going to be cuts, though, to some programs, right, that could hurt children. English as a second language, translators, things like that. That's all in the bill as well, right? I mean, are there going to be some consequences from some of these cuts?
Well, certainly the federal government and President Trump has said that we are going to reduce the monies that are flowing from the federal government to the states, but giving states more flexibility with the remaining dollars to direct them as they see fit and reducing the cost of compliance, which should far surpass the 15% or so cut that's being made in the overall funding that's going to the states. We have heard that 40% of the funds are being used on compliance. You take away the compliance cost, you cut by 15%. By my math, that means that states are still going to get enough money to provide the necessary services to their students.
All right, Erika, we always appreciate your point of view, and thank you for coming on again today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.